Listen, I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing. And we need to probably think about starting from scratch, because there's a lot that is wrong with the way that it's conducting itself, and we need to deal with that.
The issue of immigration is not a monolith. To the point of your question, there are a lot of very specific subsets under that heading that have to be addressed and understood, including those young people like yourself who did not receive DACA protection and are here obviously living a productive life, contributing and identifying in a way that is about wanting to stay and wanting to be protected. And I'll say this, first of all, we've got to pass comprehensive immigration reform. And we are not, but here's the thing, it's not only about a goal, there's no path right now for undocumented immigrants towards citizenship. There's no path. So we have 11, 12 million people, there's an argument about which, go with 11. 11 million people for which there's no real path. So it is irresponsible to not come up with a plan. And there have been bipartisan agreements, but this administration is not going to sign any of them. Because we have a president of the United States who has created a fiction about a crisis at the border, and he has held up the United States government and its workers around his vanity project called a wall.
The idea that he is trying to say that we have people that are trying to invade our country to commit mass crime is a crisis of his own making. You talk with the people who take an oath to protect our border, and they will tell you the trafficking that is happening of drugs and guns coming into our country, it's happening at ports of entry. We don't need a multi-billion-dollar wall. That wall ain't gonna stop them.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
I do not condone or and support any policy that is about picking up, arresting, and detaining undocumented immigrants who have not committed a crime.
Okay. Do you have any plans to visit the border?
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not discounting the importance of the border.
Well, I mentioned it because I know Republicans have certainly come at you on this, but Democratic Congressman Cuellar has a border district has said to you and the president, come. You need to see this.
Listen, I care about what's happening at the border. I'm in Guatemala because my focus is dealing with the root causes of migration.
But we also must, of course, tackle the issues that are inherent in the situation at the border and what we must do to strengthen legal pathways for people to enter the United States.
Final topic here, since we're here in Texas, I want to ask you about the border. Would you call the border secure?
I think that there is no question that we have to do what the president and I asked Congress to do. Is the first request we made. Pass a bill to create a pathway to citizenship. We will not rest until Congress provides all dreamers with permanent protections, including a pathway to citizenship. Congress must create a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, individuals with temporary protected status, and for farm workers. So undocumented spouses of American citizens, that they will now have an expedited way to apply and not have to leave the country to do it and not risk deportation. And this protection applies to their children as well. And then the second is for our young people and our dreamers and understanding that they who have done so much and contributed and have just shown how incredible they are,
that they should be rewarded for that excellence. And so that is what we have done. And for each population, we expect that about 500,000 people will directly benefit.